What's up, what's up, what's up? I'm here. I got a chance to sit down with Joseph Lee II. Obviously on Monday we went Facebook Live for this guy. He just got a recent promotion and I wanted to kind of sit down and ask him a couple of questions. I know all of the chaos finally calmed down, so it's really good to be sitting here with him personally and get a chance to kind of ask him a few questions as we will today. So I guess Joe, my first question to you would be kind of walk us through how did you feel when hearing Jacob and Keith and John, and I know I even got a chance to go up there and speak about you a little bit. Kind of walk us through the feeling that you had when you know that all of those conversations and all of those stories were them recognizing you to owning your very first own business.
Honestly, Tony, it was kind of a flood of emotions, more like a rush. It was an adrenaline rush, but right to my heart. You don't really realize how much you impact a person's life, how much influence you have, and what it actually means until they tell their version of what they think of you.
Yeah.
And it's just raw, but it's so powerful. You know, it actually kind of hit me. You know, as a former Marine, obviously as a Marine, you know, we don't like to cry or admit it, but at the end of the day, you know, it hit me right in the heart, because I've just made that much of a difference in somebody else's life, and that's really what I live for. You know, so it's kind of like a fulfillment, but it's so surreal at the same time. Like,
yeah, definitely. It's
real. You know, it's true.
Man, yeah, that's amazing, man. That's a great feeling. Now, I know something that's really cool also is, if people don't know, I actually named my company after my daughter. So my company name, I'm actually in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and my company name is Avalier. So it was spelled originally Aviler, and it stood for a clever, confident, authoritative person that can lead and guide individuals in the right direction. And I know something that was really important to me was my daughter, so I took the I out of Avalier and I put an A. But it also reminded me, now I know that I'm a very spiritual person, and it was amazing to me when I heard that your company name is actually Excelsius. So kind of walk us through a little bit more of like what made you choose that business name and maybe what that means to you.
Absolutely. So for me, obviously it's God first in my life, my family. But Excelsius, it's actually SIS and Excelsior. So it's in the highest degree of a godlike state.
Okay.
So for me, I kind of combine the two words, and I know it's all about us. It's a people helping people, company, team, and business.
Okay.
So I came out with Excelsius. I'm big on Latin because I was in the Marine Corps, obviously. You know, Semper Fidelis, always faithful. United States logos, e pluribus unum, individually one, united.
Wow.
So it kind of really spoke to the heart of who I am and what I really believe in. And my motto is Carpe Diem. So in Excelsius, Carpe Diem. In the highest degree, godlike state and ability, seize the day. So that kind of, it's a little bit, that's my motto, my company is, you know, it's right to the heart. It's who I am, it's my core.
Man, yeah, that kind of speaks a lot, you know, and a lot of people may not realize, but we go through a lot of adversity in life and in business, and some things, you know, people just can't get past it. You know, there's a lot of people that may have dreams of their own, but they're not really able to reach it. So if you were to kind of talk a little bit more about some of that adversity that you had kind of getting to where you got to, of course, it wasn't something that happened overnight, and I know there's people that never reach their goals and never get to their fullest potential. So what would you say is some of the adversity that you have? I know, for example, you're a father of 4, you know, so kind of walk us through how you got to your journey today.
Absolutely. So I started actually, it's been a few years back. I started with the company a few years ago. Kind of come into that entry-level position, did more of the sales side of it. Just realistically, I wasn't looking for an opportunity, I wanted a job. Okay. I needed something coming out of the factory life, coming out of the military. I was more of an employee mindset of, look, I work, this is what I do, I need to make money, and I seen that I could make a lot of money fairly quickly with it. So I treated it more as a job. Yeah. But I realized, you know, when I punched out, I could come home to my family, my why. So it was just like, nope, this is what I do, this is who I am. But to transition, I really didn't see the opportunity until after I hit the adversity. Okay. And actually, the CEO had reached out to me. I had some things happen, and he reached out to me, and it just kind of touched me. He's like, hey, you know, you're okay, we got you, don't worry about it, we've got you covered, we're gonna help you out. And it just amazed me that I realized that I actually worked for a company in a place where they actually cared about me. Wow. Where they actually had my back. Yeah. And having gratitude and shifting to a state of gratitude would be my biggest advice. No matter what adversity you're facing, remember why are you really here? What are you really doing in life? What do you really want? Because the destination, where you want to go, you should keep walking towards it. But the route sometimes has to vary. Sometimes you may have a roadblock or a rock, something you may have to chisel on to get around and get through. But shifting to a state of gratefulness actually was really the biggest key. Wow. Being thankful. Some days, and this is funny you mentioned this, Jacob, he had actually brought up something, and he was like, you know, we were going through some stuff, some adversities, and I was just like, out of the blue, I mentioned, I'm like, you know what? I'm grateful we have paper today. And he just looks at me and he smiles. And like, it just diffused everything. It was just like, wow, you know what? You're right. I'm grateful I have breath. I am grateful for the opportunity and freedom to walk. Wow. You know, I am grateful. So that shift into that state of gratitude, that's really the key. That's really the key.
Wow, man, that's amazing. You know, people can't really take themselves from chaos or adversity or challenges and take themselves all the way to gratitude. But if you can, maybe tell us a little bit more. What are a couple of things that you're grateful for? Obviously, you're now here in a new position, owning your own company, you know, so kind of tell us some of the things that you're personally grateful for.
Oh man, personally, first and foremost, I have to give it up to my amazing wife. Because if it wasn't for her, I would not be here today.
They say happy wife, happy life, you know?
You have no idea. I believe she firmly works 10 times harder at home. She actually manages and takes care of our 4 children, wow. which allows me the freedom to be a full-time dad, wow. to be a full-time, employee, yeah. now business owner and entrepreneur.
That's important.
She actually had my back while I got my, I don't know how to put it in any better terms, I call it the School of Hard Knocks degree. You know, I'm a very strong-willed, stubborn person. Yeah. And it took me a little bit of going back and forth with my mentors and training and coaching, but she'd had my back all the way through. Wow. All the way through from beginning to end, you know, having that one person in the corner that says, look, you can do this. You get up, you got to do it. Yeah. You know, I mean, day after day after day, just relentless. And then looking at my kids in the morning. And when my son, they're the cutest, you know, innocence. yeah. When they look you in the face and they say, give me a hug and kiss, Daddy. Okay, you're doing 10 today, right? You got 10 today? Okay, Dad, come home when you get 10. We want ice cream. And then, you know, they walk away and they run off, and it's just like, well, that hits your heart. Wow. How could you not be grateful? Yeah. You know, and experiencing life in the military and some of the harder things I've faced in life, it's so much easier after experiencing life to be grateful for the simple things.
You know, I always said that there was no adversity, there was no problems, there was no worry. And for people out there that are fathers or mothers or grandparents, they know that there's no greater feeling than coming home to your son or your daughter and they run up to you after a hard day of work, or, you know, we're in a sales business, so one day we might have a lot of sales and the next day we don't. And those days that we don't have a lot of sales, it feels really good to come in and kind of have like the support of your wife or the support of your children. So I definitely know that's something that can kind of course, you take you to where you are now. You know, a couple more questions, I'll wrap it up. I know you got to get back upstairs. Those guys are going crazy up there about you right now. And it's already 2 days later here on Wednesday. But I think the biggest thing I want to say is you have support, like you said, at home for your wife, your children, those type of things. But what type of advice would you give those people that don't have support, don't know how to take that next step to their goal, they don't have patience and can wait a couple of years like you did to get to where you are now? But what is some advice that you would have for those people that are looking to kind of have similar success but maybe in their own path?
So those people that are looking to get ahead, that want something a little bit more out of life, they're trying to get ahead, they're trying to get something more out of this, and they don't really have the time or the support. Honestly, the only support I really had was my mom. I remember right before I hit my assistant director promotion, I think my dad, I love my dad. They have the best intentions. Oh man! But he had offered me a job to work with him, and he's like, you know, hey, you can come. I can get you into the factory. You can work this out. And I said, Dad, you know, no offense, I love you, but this is my paycheck. He's like, yeah, I know, I made that. I get paid every 2 weeks. I said, no, this is last week's paycheck. He goes, oh, all right, and never brought it up again. Oh man! So. For those people coming in that don't have that support, I really didn't have it from my family. Sure. You know, they didn't understand. Yeah. So I started to seek advice from actually it was you, from
Okay.
Jacob,
Yeah.
from a lot of our core leadership, Dean, a lot of mentors. I started seeking advice from the people who had what I want. The people that had what I wanted, because they had the results.
Yeah.
So I chased after those who had the results, and I listened to them, and I realized those people that you listen to, if you buy their advice, you would buy their lifestyle.
Wow.
So I love my family. I seriously give everything for them. I mean, I've supported them 100%, but I didn't want to work in a factory, and I didn't want that result in my life. I don't owe a house payment. My house is paid for. My Mercedes Benz that I have, I used to drive a pickup truck, it's paid for. So I took the advice from my mentors and I just applied it because they had the results. So I would say reach out and reach up.
Wait, stop it. I don't want to stop you in the middle of your thought, Joe. So did you tell me that your house is paid for and your Mercedes Benz is paid for?
Yes.
And you did that in sales?
Correct. And my wife doesn't work. I have 4 children.
Wow.
She's a stay-at-home mom.
Wow.
My 2 daughters, actually now my 3rd daughter is going to a private school, and then my son he's going to be starting school soon. So yeah, my wife is a full-time stay-at-home ninja. I really firmly believe she does harder work than I do.
Okay.
And this is also while I'm in a management training program.
Wow. How do you, a couple more things, we got to wrap it up, man. These guys are up there going crazy, but listen, so how do you hold that together? How do you be in a business? You know, so many people say that they're scared of sales, they're scared of commission, they're scared of, they need guarantee, they need all of these things. And you really risk that all. The fact, again, like you said, your wife is a stay-at-home mom, you have 4 kids, that's school, that's lunch, that's book bags, that's school clothes. I got a 4-year-old daughter, so I know exactly what it's like with just having one. So kind of, how did you handle that adversity or those thoughts that you knew that you didn't have a guaranteed quote-unquote paycheck in sales, you know?
So actually, I'm glad you brought that up, Tony. So when I got out of the Marine Corps, I'd always worked hourly wage, right? I got out of the military and I went to the factory. I was making $20 an hour. And then one day, it was actually funny, the day before my birthday, I was at work and they come up to me and they say, hey, I know your birthday's tomorrow, so congratulations. And they handed me this pink piece of paper. And I was like, well, what's this? I thought it was a joke.
Yeah.
No, I got laid off for 6 months.
Wow.
Now I have a wife and 4 kids and I'm laid off. I went from making about $1,000 a week, $800 a week, down to unemployment and trying to make ends meet. So I realized that security of that job was a lie.
Yeah.
It really was. So when I found out that my paycheck was based on my effort, my results, it really kind of set me free. It actually took the pressure off. It was just the opposite.
Okay.
Because now I didn't have to worry about somebody else saying, oh, hey, by the way, we don't need you today. We're not going to pay you anymore. It was, hey, you're actually doing what you need to do and over and above. So not only are we going to pay you this, but we're going to give you $200, $300, $400, $500 bonuses on a weekly basis. Or we're going to send you, oh, hey, by the way, you're a top performer now, so you're going to the Bahamas.
Wow.
I'd never been on a cruise before.
Yeah.
You know, so it kind of actually was more freeing. I really didn't understand until after about my first 3 weeks in the business, though, how much of an opportunity it really was.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm a funny guy. I got a sense of humor, and I know that you do too. Every time I'm around you, man, you're always making me laugh. You make everybody around you laugh. So, well, let's end this on a good note, high energy. Kind of tell us one of those funny field stories I know you probably have.
Let's see. I believe I was up in one of our Michigan offices actually at the time. I was in Muskegon, over in Muskegon, Michigan. Okay. So, you know, a little road trip. I know we cover many states now. Yeah. But in my earlier days, I was actually out training, and we were out doing our job. And I'm working, and I'm with a customer, and I had an agent. All of a sudden, I hear a motorcycle, you know, sports bike, and they're coming down the street. I'm like, and I look, and I see my agent with a tablet across his back pull up on a motorcycle, and I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, it's okay. The customer said I could borrow it. My pen died, and he doesn't have any, and I needed to fill out the paperwork. Can I get a pen? As he's pulling up, so I just hand him one, and he drives off in a motorcycle. I'm like, what just happened? This is the coolest job that we have the freedom to do that and the ability. So it was quite amazing. That's one of those things you never forget.
I got to go to that market. I need a motorcycle in my life. But listen, Joe, congratulations to your new promotion. A lot of success coming your way. You know, I've known you for the last 3-4 years now. So I know they definitely put the right guy in the right position. So super proud of you, man. Really cool to be able to say that I was a part of your journey also. So congratulations to you, and hopefully everything kind of works out for you. And I look forward to kind of having some new competition in the place, you know. So thanks for coming in, man. I know you got to get back up there. So thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, you guys are with Joseph Lee Funk II. Great guy. You heard a little bit about his story. Obviously, we got a chance to sit down with him before he has to go back up there and get to work. But obviously, if you have any questions for us, let us know. Obviously, reach out to Joe. You know his company is Excelsius. Tune in to us on Facebook. Follow us, like us, share us. And then again, you know, Company 9 is always right here in Toledo, Ohio. And of course, you know I'm Avalier, so your success is our business. Thanks, guys.